guys, hit it. Oh, that was sick.
Hello everyone and welcome to my playthrough of Thrasher, Skate, and Destroy. I'm Insetic. With me on this first video is Blank Tester.
Hey kids, how's it going?
And Ubis.
Don't do drugs.
Sound advice.
Yeah.
So, Thrasher, Skate, and Destroy is a 1999 extreme sports skateboarding game developed by Z-Axis, their first foray into 3D, extreme sports before they got the Dave Mirra series, and published by Rockstar. So yeah, this game came out late September 1999. It looks like a week before another game came out, a little competitor you might have heard of it, called Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1.
Oh man.
So yeah, the wild, wild west days of the extreme sports. And so, Thrasher, Skate, and Destroy is definitely kind of a underground classic, not as well known, but the people that have played it and do like it love it. Definitely a different kind of feel compared to the arcadey Tony Hawk nature, a more grounded, kind of realistic feel.
Interesting.
Yeah, to everything across the game, the levels, the physics, and especially, how much really you can do.
That actually kind of makes me sad.
Really?
Because like, Z-Axis they've made a lot of cool games that we really like. And, it's just sad that, like this game and Tony Hawk kind of came out at the same time and could have been, really either one of them could have been the standard for how extreme sports games work after. And
right.
Tony Hawk became that thing, and then their later extreme sports games are very Tony Hawk-ish.
Right.
So it's kind of sad to me that their, design schema on this one didn't carry forward.
Yeah. Z-Axis definitely did kind of start to fall in line and emulate Tony Hawk a bit.
But I mean, Z-Axis is great, so is Neversoft.
Yeah.
They were both great companies.
Yeah. So, really, the best thing you'll be able to do in this game is, flip trick to a grind, flip trick out. That's the craziest thing you'll be able to do. And you look at professional skating, and that's basically the same.
Yeah.
You look at those X Games Street, those gold medal runs, are the pros very smoothly doing, flip trick grind out, or a 180 flip trick, or a 360 down some stairs, You're not going to be busting million-point combos in this game. So, the one big thing, though, and the thing that put me off playing this game for so long, is the controls. It's, extreme sports controls weren't really standardized, so Z-Axis has their own way of doing it, and their own kind of technical way of doing it that's just different from Tony Hawk. And from someone who's, grew up on Tony Hawk, played a lot of other games that fell in line with Tony Hawk, I'm going to struggle with this throughout the entire game. And I kind of apologize, I'd like to be able to do some super sick, super smooth lines, but basically, as soon as I kind of get something down, whenever muscle memory kind of kicks in, I do the wrong thing. But so the way you kind of play Thrasher is, on the ground, you push off with X to get speed, and you hit square to ollie. Just ollie. Because triangle is to ollie and do a flip trick. And circle is to ollie and do a spin. And, that kind of makes sense, because in actual skateboarding, you need to prepare a flip trick and jump in a way to get the board flipping under you.
Right.
You need to prepare a spin in a certain way to get yourself spinning with the board keeping with you. You don't jump and go, now that I'm in the air, I will decide to do a flip trick.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you jump, and then from there you'd be able to grab in the air, and then, grinding is with the X button as well. But, yeah, really it's kind of a nice little combination of and keeping it fresh with doing flip tricks, doing spins, jumps and grabs, and yeah, kind of doing those combos, because you can see as well, you can hold a button and then start hitting, pressing on the D-pad, and you will see what trick you're about to do.
That's kind of nice.
Z-Axis has always given so much information to the player that they didn't need to give. Like, Dave Mirror 1, we never mentioned it, but it would show you what D-pad directional buttons you're pressing.
Yeah.
And in this game, I'm holding triangle, I'm moving the D-pad around, and it'll show kick flip, or pop shove it, or 360 flip, based on what I will do if I release the buttons at that moment. And also, note, it loads you into the level, but you haven't necessarily started your run yet.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you
can ride around and get familiar with the level before your run starts.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, let's, I think we're about to start, so let's get going. You've got 2 minutes on the clock, and it's time to get some points. And I played around with the controls, and I immediately fuck up. See, like, I just played for like 3 minutes, and I got the buttons wrong immediately again. So that's gonna happen. But, yeah, standard to Z-axis, you're supposed to use a wide variety of tricks, and you're supposed to use a good amount of the levels. So, if you stay in one place, you'll soon, see your score multipliers dropping, but if you get around, you'll be able to keep the points flowing, basically.
Yeah, I have a question about crashing.
Yeah.
So next time you crash, I'll ask, but just so you know.
I'll probably crash again this run, I think.
Yeah.
But along with that, like, we also talked in Dave Mirror 1 about kind of the groundedness of the levels, And in their first foray, they leaned even harder into that. This level is basically something that could exist. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so what's that symbol and that number mean?
That's basically you losing health on your, health bar over there.
Yeah.
Oh, so that, red bar that's,
Yeah.
falling. Okay.
Yeah. And note ragdoll physics in 1999.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But yeah, aside from some quarter pipes set up around the place, and some small kicker ramps, this is just basically a real-life location. A place that could exist in reality, which again, really, helps out with the atmosphere.
Yeah.
The groundedness of what you can do with the groundedness of the levels, it really works.
Yeah. I could see people complaining that the level is a little empty.
Yeah.
Right. And I was about to talk about the soundtrack, but note how the soundtrack's faded away. And you can hear a cop, and
mad now.
I kind of got away from him a little fast, so I'll explain what happens at the end of the next level. But one of the main gimmicks of Thrasher is that at the end of the run, the timer doesn't just run out and it ends. A cop will show up trying to arrest you, basically.
Oh.
And if you haven't gotten out of the level, you need to try and get out of the level before he catches you.
Oh, so you need to find the exit to the level?
Yeah.
Oh.
They're not super hard exits, and you saw once I got the right amount of points, the point counter glowed green, showing that I could just leave the level then and win.
I see.
But waiting till the cop comes around does have some benefits. Every trick you do, I think, has double score if you're running from the cop while doing it.
Oh.
So, someone real good at the game could, go on a nice line running from the cop and get some extra points, but he will catch up to you eventually. It does only buy you, 15 more seconds. So you can either get sufficiently far away from him or get to the exit of the level. But, another thing they leaned into was the soundtrack, which is a good mix of 80s and 90s hip-hop, featuring, artists and bands like Tribe Called Quest, Grandmaster Flash, Public Enemy, Run DMC. And
Ubis, do you have any picks from the soundtrack that you really like?
I really, first time I played this game, I really got into a Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah. I mean, Tribe is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a very good mix of songs from that genre.
Yeah.
If that's your kind of music.
The one thing that I find interesting is I'm curious how they got the whole, Thrasher cosign, At the time.
What do you mean?
Because Thrasher is a notoriously, hard company to work with. Unless you're true to the roots of skateboarding.
Right. Yeah, Thrasher magazine back then was definitely the kind of king of the skateboarding culture media.
Yeah.
And they still are a pretty big player, though now they're multimedia, of course.
Yeah.
YouTube channel, other events and such.
Were they as hard to work with back then as they are now?
I'd say they were probably harder, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, because, dude, they're a lot... That magazine's run by a lot of, like, hardcore skaters. Like, it is
I will
true.
say, if any game company was gonna make a good impression
Yeah.
on non-gamers or non-game developers,
Yeah.
I'd say Z-Axis would be the team that I would send in for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, Z-Axis, generally speaking, sometimes their game... Ooh, fuck. Sometimes their games are a little bit clunky, but... Especially, like, their early stuff, but, like, they know how to put stuff together in a way that, like, even if you're kind of frustrated with the way their systems work, you can see why they designed the system the way they did, and it's, more or less fun.
Yeah.
Like,
you
I mean,
can
I'm a
still
big
have
fan
fun
of their
with it.
aggressive inline and Dave Mira and stuff like that, so...
Right. Yeah, I mean, Z-Axis always tried. Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with you there.
Yeah.
And they were just kind of getting around to, getting solid frameworks of games and such with aggressive inline and such when BMX XXX basically fucked them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then again, the edgy period of the early 2000s fucked a lot of people.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, if you don't get away from the cop,
Oof.
he basically detains you and you fail the level, basically. You have to try again.
Oh, you have to get away from him.
Yeah.
You have to get away from him.
Oh.
Yes.
That's odd.
Yeah, so...
I kind of like
Yeah.
the way the camera, like, you see it from the cops' eyes.
Yeah. There's a lot of different camera
Oh, shit.
angles, actually, in this game. There's, like, a fisheye lens type camera
Really?
you can turn on, yeah.
So, like,
Right.
more authentic skating sort of
Yeah.
look.
Right.
That's
One
nice.
thing that I do know, like, maybe that why Rockstar got the Thrasher name, I guess.
Yeah.
They actually used to sponsor BMX shops and skate shops around New York
That's right.
back in
Yeah.
like the early 2000s.
Are those just toilets sitting out?
Yeah, it's kind of a side room.
Huh.
But yeah, so note that I've gotten the
run, you little
score,
reprobate.
so I'm gonna bail before the timer's over. And
I
that's
see.
perfectly fine.
Hmm.
And they roll out new tricks to you at a pretty good rate, actually. New flip trick, new grab, a new grind, which, basically covers the basics. We got after that first level, we got a sponsor for our shoes. Basically just a way to, get money from brands for the game. Include them as decals, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the first 2 levels of Thrasher. Next up, we'll be staying in New York as we go to Washington Square. So, see you then.